So I was just looking on YouTube and I found a bunch of like old videos that I did in like 2011 with my school at the time, my high school, doing like the broadcast journalism class. And it was so surreal watching it because I have zero memory of like hardly any of that. I did have a couple memories of some of the like pieces I'd put together, but I have zero memory of like being an anchor. Like I know that I was an anchor for the like school's broadcast show, but I don't remember any of it. And it's interesting like watching the actual show that was put together because I never watched it at the time, which is so weird to like think about that I was part of the show that I didn't even watch. And I didn't even know half those things were going on at my school. And it got me like wonder it was very like depersonalizing, derealization moment watching these things, realizing like I had no idea what was going on at my own school or like even what I was part of. I think it's largely because had I was in trauma, like fight or flight mode for so long, and that's such a weird realization to come to feel like you were asleep most of your life and really only woke up in the last 5 years. And it's just it's odd. It's an odd feeling to not remember your life really. And it definitely made me feel self-conscious. Like, what did people think of me? I feel like I was on autopilot back then compared to the way I live my life now. I mean, I still have days where I kind of feel like I'm on autopilot, I guess. But it's just so strange. And I wonder if there'll be a point in the future when I look back at now and I'll feel even more awake and aware than I do now. And it's just, it was weird. And I just kind of wanted to talk about it. I've got today off. And so I just was on my phone. I was painting for a bit, watching YouTube videos about how AI is going to kill us all. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's self-centered to watch old videos of myself. I don't know. But it was just so surreal. I don't really know any other way to describe it. I don't feel like it's me. That's that depersonalization, derealization. But it's just so weird. I was so lost and so sad, and I really did not understand a lot of like the social happenings that were going on around me. And that's weird to realize that I really just had no idea how to connect with people. I didn't really understand what people were saying to me. I feel like perhaps my like audio processing issues were worse than I realized too. I mean, I didn't watch things with captions, so I just didn't really understand what I was watching a lot of times. Or like when people would talk to me, it was like I had no idea what they were saying. Like I could hear the words. So there's nothing wrong with my actual like physical hearing, but my comprehension was off. And it's so weird because I feel like I always saw myself as like academically gifted, you know? I mean, I was in lots of gifted programs and advanced programs in school, but I was stupid looking back. I just, not necessarily academically, but socially, I was completely ignorant. I had no idea who I was in relation to others or who I really was in general. I was just so miserable all the time. I just wanted to be anywhere but in my home. I don't know. It's just so odd to try and remember because there's a lot of my childhood that is just gone in my memory. Whether it's just from bad memory or from the trauma, I don't know. But I don't know. There's also this like overwhelming sense of compassion for my old self who just hated herself, felt like she didn't understand anyone and no one understood her. And also a sense of like sadness of the like opportunities I missed out on because I just wasn't even looking for them. I was too busy looking for ways to get drunk or get high in high school because I just didn't want to be me. And it's just sad. And it's been making me think about, I hope that when I know things already are a lot different for my son, but I just hope that he never has a moment like this where he looks back and feels like, wow, I wasted a lot of opportunity or didn't take them because I was so confused and lost and miserable. I just, that's why I feel like it's so important that I like get him into these extracurriculars like violin and soccer and basketball and swimming, and he's taking a video production class later this year, which is it's interesting how it comes full circle, right? But I just hope that he has such a different experience in adulthood when he looks back on his childhood that he doesn't feel removed from them. Like if I don't know, it's so weird because it doesn't even feel like me, the me I know myself to be now, anyways. And even trying to put myself back into the mindset of who I was back then, it just feels so foreign. Which in one regard is great that I'm not identifying with that person who tried to take her own life so many times. But it's almost like the FOMO, the fear of missing out, but like retroactively applied. Maybe it's regret or something, but not that I want to go back to those times. I don't want to. I never want to go back in time. I never want to. My life has only gotten better, and so I never want to go back. But it's just so weird. I really had no clue about anything. And yeah, I'm really interested to see how it'll be in the future. When I look back on now and see how little I knew now compared to where I'll be in the future. It's just odd. And this isn't like the first time that I have struggled with like depersonalization, derealization. I can't fucking talk. But like looking at old pictures and being like, wow, I don't even remember being there, looking like that, wearing those clothes. It's just so odd. I just wanted to talk about it and document it. And it's more so for my own sake, or for whenever Aiden's older and is allowed to be on YouTube, because he's not now, and I don't know when I'll ever let him be on the wild west of the internet. It's a scary, weird place. I don't know. I never thought either that like I would be this mom either, the one that is closer aligned to helicopter parent than laissez-faire, where I just let my kid run wild. Because I know when I was a kid, I just wanted to let run wild, like. And now as a parent, I'm like, no, I could never. I will have a heart attack. I think though there is a difference between like my mother and myself. Obviously there's a lot of differences, but it's weird because I do get, on the one hand, the anxiety of motherhood, but I also suspect that a lot of her rules came more from needing a sense of control, as opposed to where I feel mine come from fear of safety for my son. But who knows, that's the thing, we never really know what goes on in our parents' heads, and sometimes becoming a parent gives us a better idea, but at the same time too, it also reveals to me just how much more cruel my mother was, being a mother myself, seeing how I would never treat any child the way she treated me, especially my own child. It's just weird. Growing up's weird. Being 32 now, feeling old as shit, and looking back at my like 16, 17-year-old self, it's odd feeling compassion for her. She was someone who thought no one would ever feel compassion for her. She didn't feel it for herself. It makes me, though, mostly excited for the future to see how much further I can come, how much better things can get. And for a long time, I didn't think things would ever get better. I thought they would only get worse. And for a while, they did get worse. But yeah, I am mostly excited to see how much better things can get, and I just hope that when my son looks back on his childhood, he doesn't feel the ways I feel. That he remembers spending time with friends and doing things with the school and all that stuff, which I just don't really remember being allowed to do any of that stuff. I mean, I definitely, if I had friends over, it was few and far between, and then I got screamed at afterwards for some perceived wrong, or and to the point where it was just like I didn't want to ask to have friends over, because it would just lead to misery for me in the weeks after at home. And I love though that my son is kind of a homebody, because it means that his home's a safe place. I never wanted to be at home. I wanted to be anywhere but home, but that was where I was stuck most of the time. And I don't know, it's just odd, kind of sitting with the present and past simultaneously and seeing how much is similar and how much is different for myself, and then trying to, kind of just see what my son will feel in the same scenarios. I don't know. Maybe no one understands this. Maybe I'm just babbling nonsense, but I don't know. I think I need to go do something to put me back in my body. I'm gonna go for a walk or something. Um, but yeah, I hope anyone that watches my weird videos has a good day. And yeah, I don't even care to know what anyone who watches these thinks of me. I'm a weirdo. I get it. And honestly, with adult understanding, I'm kind of amazed I really made it this far. Everything that I went through, all the extreme pain I felt, all the suicide attempts, it's a bit miraculous I'm still here. Um, but I'm glad to be. And I think maybe every time I held on, even though I was disappointed in the moment, maybe I held on because I knew in some way that one day I'd get here, where I'm glad I'm here. And I hope anyone out there, if you're struggling with wanting to be here, hold on. Just hold on. And I know it's really hard, especially when things are really rough. But one day you might have a day like mine, a time like mine, where you're just so glad you made it through all the stuff that you shouldn't have. It's really beautiful. Sad, but beautiful. Paradox and shit. Alright, I'm gonna get off here before I start crying and sounding even crazier.